The Disney card game Lorcana was released in 2023, and although the cards feature many favourite characters, items, and stories, there is also an underlying sort of narrative that is told throughout the 10 sets released thus far. This is that story, up to the most recent set, at time of recording, Whispers in the Well. The first chapter sets out a lot of the lore behind Lorcana, including the energy source of the series, appropriately called lore. Lorcana is a magical realm with the Great Illuminary at its centre. The curator, a sorcerer, built the Illuminary as a library of stories. The curator had the ability to summon characters called glimmers with the help of magic inks: ruby, amethyst, emerald, sapphire, steel, and amber. Whilst the personalities and abilities of these glimmers would vary depending on which ink was used, they would always keep the core character traits from their respective stories. So villains would still be villains, heroes would be heroes, etc. And items could also be created through this process. The curator and his disciples, the Illumineers, would disappear for as yet unexplained reasons, leaving the Illuminary abandoned. 4 new Illumineers, as they would come to be known, are teleported to Lorcana, summoned by the Illuminary. Venturo, a programmer, Martin, a musician, Shazen, a poet, and you, the player of the game, all chosen for their creative abilities. They summon glimmers of characters from various Disney properties to help restore Lorcana and gather the lore of the Illuminary. Detective Mickey finds evidence of foul play in the Illuminary, discovering ink-covered seaweed in the halls of the Great Illuminary, being joined in the search by Basil, the Great Mouse Detective. Martin accidentally opens a sealed law book, which is covered in seaweed, which releases a flood of dark ink into the Great Illuminary. A flood of ink is poured through the Great Illuminary, sweeping several artefacts into the Inklands. The impact of the flood has had an impact on the Glimmers too, creating a new type, Floodborn. The rush of ink has given them new, unexpected powers or abilities. Cogsworth, for example, is older, Captain Hook has the powers of fairy dust, and Tinkerbell is giant-sized. Chief Bogo of Zootopia leads the investigation into what has happened, assisted by the other Glimmers, including those of Judy Hopps and Cobra Bubbles. A number of Glimmers begin to explore the wider Inklands, including Peter Pan, who is tasked with finding the law book, Pinocchio, and Kit Cloudkicker. The Illumineers continue to explore the Inklands, with Venturo leading a crew of Glimmers, notably Tinkerbell, Prince Eric, and Audrey Ramirez, looking for King Triton's trident and other lore items. Although they find the trident, they are distracted by the lucky dime, and Ursula takes off with the trident instead. The Illumineers have accidentally summoned another Ursula, Deceiver of All, who is identifiable by her rainbow hair. Both Ursulas have worked together to steal Triton's trident and the Hexwell crown, having worked with other Glimmers such as Hans, and now they have it. Other villains, such as Maleficent, through the help of Diablo, don't act either way, but monitor the situation. The Deceiver Ursula is double-crossed by regular Ursula, who seizes the trident and the crown to control alone. Ursula rules, and has taken several Glimmers over, controlling them. One of those affected is Bruno Madrigal, whom Ursula uses to see that the Illumineers and Glimmers are on their way to Ursula's lair to confront her. Several Glimmers, including Mulan, Raya, and Elsa, fight off Ursula's magic. Beast is infected, but saved by Belle's mystic healing. Ariel and Flounder stumble across a second Inkcaster, the device used to create Glimmers, which seems to have been left around for a while. It is also suggested that Hades has his own tricks up his sleeve, using the fact that the Illumineers are busy dealing with Ursula to scheme for himself. And a shadowy figure gets their hands on the crown. During this time, Ursula has ensnared several other Glimmers: Minnie Mouse, Jafar, Anna. The Illumineers, supported by Ariel, Mickey Mouse, and Mulan, go to confront her, but they are caught in a trap as Bruno's vision allowed Ursula to plan for their arrival. Ursula is eventually defeated, and the trident and Hexwell crown are destroyed. The Illumineers celebrate defeating Ursula, throwing a party which many of the Glimmers attend. Martin performs on stage, forgiven for the mistakes that led to Ursula's rise. Nothing could go wrong now, could it? Other villains are eager to step into the power vacuum left by Ursula's demise, including Magica Dispel, who finds remnants of the trident, and the Evil Queen, who gathers together a council of her own reflections. It also doesn't help that many villains, including Gothel and Prince John, are not invited to the party, being turned away by the head of security, Kronk. Ratigan has snuck in, however, as have Maleficent and Scroop, although Maleficent's thorns are turned to ribbons by the 3 fairies. The Glimmers celebrate with cake and competitions such as archery and carnival games. Hades and Hercules arm wrestle, Gaston and Aladdin have a boxing match, and a food fight takes place, accidentally caused by Goofy. Meanwhile, the 7 dwarves as knights guard Lorcana during the festivities. As the party ends, however, the greater luminary begins collapsing, falling apart during the party. The glimmer of Basil and Merlin uncover a secret room containing an amber omicron that they give to Martin. Each ink has its own chromicon as well, and each is discovered subsequently, with Merlin uncovering the sapphire chromicon, although they are aware of a shadowy presence in the room. The Lorcana video that shows this clearly shows this to be a silhouette of Jafar. Moana realises that Scrooge McDuck's map is not of the Illuminary, but leads out to the sea as well. There appears to be an owl logo inscribed on the map. Meanwhile, the glimmer Basil comes across another empty room within the Great Illuminary. He is confronted by Jafar, who uses his staff to control Basil into handing over the piece of the crown he had. Jafar tells Basil to find the rest of the crown and bring it to him. The Illuminaires head off onto the Azurite Sea, partly to escape the collapsing Great Illuminary and partly to discover how to fix it. The Azurite Sea seems to have a mind of its own, waves shifting to form paths and block routes, a maze as such, which traps the Alice Glimmer. An island appears in the middle of these waters, surrounded by the waves. Jasmine leads the Illuminaires across the seas until they stumble across a Kakamora warship. As our heroes look doomed, Baymax and hero Hamada arrive to protect the ship against the Kakamora. Villains, such as Captain Hook and his crew, are also drawn to the seas, looking to gain advantage from the water and its secrets. Hook captures Tinkerbell and Donald and Daisy's ship, finding Daisy's map of the seas, a guide to the uncharted waters. Hook waited, studying the map, even whilst his crew plot a mutiny. Smee frees Tinkerbell to try and get Hook to focus on something other than the map, but it was all Peter Pan's plan, striking once Tink was free and taking back the map. Jafar continues to scheme, having been revealed to have been the mystery figure collecting the other half of the crown, with continued, if under duress, help from Basil. He tracks its location and sends Basil into the Inklands to go and find it. The crown, however, has disappeared again, with only markings and droplets of seawater. Basil realises it is a giant owl that has taken control of the crown. Rafiki's prophecies also foretell of an owl who will stand up to Jafar's scheming machinations. The Illuminaires arrive at the island, meeting Arcasia, a wise owl in a mask, and the owner of the Inkcaster, who is clearly worried about something that is coming. She imparts a lot of mythology around Lorcana to the group, including how to combine inks within glimmers to create dual inks. She tells them about the Hexwell Forge that can create magical artefacts, including the Hexwell Crown and the coils. She also explains that the crown is just half of a bigger artefact that was split into two, one half in the Great Illuminary and the other half of the crown is kept safe by her. She also reveals that she is an Illumineer, presumably one of the original disciples of the Curator. Martin reveals that half of the crown in the Illuminary has gone missing, but it's okay because the other half of the crown is safe. Arcasia agrees to train the new Illuminaires. The Illuminaires discover that the second half of the Hexwell Crown in the Great Illuminary has been taken, only reinforcing the need for security on the island. The second Inkcaster is returned to Arcasia, its rightful owner, and Jafar, with the help of Basil, steals the other half of the Hexwell Crown, combining and restoring the two halves as one again. A wave of sand heads towards Arcasia's library, with several characters surrounded by it, including Thumper, Jock, and Tramp. Jafar has taken control of the island, now known as Hexwell Island, declaring himself to be the Lord of Lorcana and transforming it into a treacherous desert fortress filled with sandstorms, illusions, traps, and snakes, supposedly with Arcasia's help. The Illuminaires plot a rescue of Arcasia by entering the armory and sneaking past Jafar's glimmer guards. The Illuminaires come across mouse-shaped footprints and realise Basil may be on the trail. Jafar orders all the magical artefacts into the palace for safety. In reality, he is after the Inkcaster to gain the powers of the Illuminaires for himself. The Basil glimmer reveals Arcasia is trapped within an hourglass, freed from Jafar's spell, and protected by a giant scorpion. Archimedes helps the Illuminaires, causing the scorpion to crash into the hourglass, freeing Arcasia. Arcasia admits she had let things fester with her old friend, presumably she's talking about the Creator there. The team sneak into the palace to steal back the Hexwell Crown, with Arcasia tricking Jafar with her Inkcaster. The Glimmers also provide distractions to allow the Illuminaires to sneak into the palace, including giant birds of Fred and Mickey Mouse, and a raid by Flynn Rider and Rapunzel. The Glimmers fight with Jafar's own forces, besting his illusions and his creatures. Eventually, the Illuminaires and some of the Glimmers take the crown back. As part of this story, there is also the palace heist. Jafar taking control of Arcasia's temple, taking command of the various statues and genie in the process, creating illusions of various glimmers as well, such as Aladdin, Abu and the Sultan. Several glimmers are trapped within the palace, such as Stitch. The Illuminaires successfully infiltrate the palace, reclaiming the Hexwell crown. Jafar is dethroned, his reign at an end, and Arcasia's island begins to restore back to its lush state, Jafar's palace facade collapsing. Archimedes is tasked with destroying the Hexwell crown once and for all. We're going to step out of the story just for a moment to talk about the next set within that storyline, set 9, Fabled, as it doesn't really take place within the same storyline as many of the other Lorcana sets, and it doesn't really have its own storyline as such, given that many of the cards are reprints of cards from previous sets. So, with that in mind, back to the story, to Whispers in the Well, and we are introduced to a new type of glimmer, Whispers, unfinished glimmers lost from their lore books. From the sound of it, the Whispers have been removed from their lore books without choice by some mysterious force, which has damaged the lore books, and work is being done to return the Whispers to their lore books. Whispers also seem to have lost some of their abilities compared to their glimmer forms, as well as the ability to touch. They are lost in the caverns of the Inkwell. Leading the case are Glimmer detectives Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, who interview a number of figures, including Illuminaires, Glimmers, and Whispers alike. Other Glimmers get involved, helping with the case too. Goofy, several officers of the Zootopia Police Department, Basil, Scrooge McDuck, and Eliza Marza. The entire Illuminary is helping to restore pages of the damaged lore books. The headless man-horse Glimmer claims to have experienced a shock down in the Inkwell caverns. Ventura admits to hearing weird noises down the staircases in the Great Illuminary. Judy uncovers a key inside a book in the Lost Study, which opens a secret passage deep into the Illuminary beneath the Inkworks. She decides to wait for backup before proceeding. Weapons and gear to explore the caverns are recovered from the lab. Deep within the caverns lie 6 pools of ink, 1 for each ink type. There are also structures from mysterious, clearly long-gone people. The original Illuminaires, perhaps? One of those long gone is Hannah, of the book Hannah's Herborium, one of the several items found among the ruins, as well as the items from the curator and another ink caster. Nick speculates that an ancient journal containing records of the glimmers of the torn pages the lore book the creator might have been driven mad, but the records are too damaged to tell. At the same time, there is a dark presence within the caverns, skulking and lurking, the Headless Horseman, scaring Goofy, Mickey and Donald. Each member of the Fab Five and Daisy have becoming champions. Mickey, Amber, Minnie, Amethyst, Goofy, Emerald, Donald Duck, Ruby, Daisy, Sapphire and Pluto, Steel. The story of Lorcana is still clearly far from over. I'll probably do a video at a later date outlining my predictions for the future of Lorcana and my reasons behind that. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, remember to leave a like, comment down below, and I hope you'll have an amazing day. And I'll talk to you all next time. It's day 13 of the Pin Advent Calendar, and as we're now at the halfway point, we've just passed it. I thought we'd take stock of where we are so far with the pins, which ones we're still expecting, and what is still to come. So we've got 3 of the Hoff pins. We have 1 left of those. We have got 4 of the Fab 50 pins, 2 from each series, which means I am probably now expecting another 1 from each of those series. I've got 1 of the 2 Lilo and Stitch Loungefly pins. I've got 1 of the 2 I've forgotten the name of them. Winnie the Pooh Honeycomb pins. I've got 1 of 4 of the Halloween Horror Nights pins, 2 of 4 of the Epcot pins, and none of the music notes so far. I think those are the only ones. Oh, and obviously the Jungle Book one, which is going to come on day 25, but it's a separate thing. We know I'm not going to find that until day 25. So let's see what day 13 will bring us. It doesn't feel like a music note, this one. This one feels like one of the Epcot pins. Keep knocking that thingy. It is, and it's a new one. It is Remy, the rat from Ratatouille. There, looking super cool with his little hat on. This is obviously a reference to, well, it's Remy's, what's the name of the ride now? The ride at the French Pavilion at Epcot. Remy's something adventure. There's another word in there, I can't think what it is. But it's that one. And it's obviously it's Remy. I mean, I still really want the Figment from that one. It's like the one I wanted most. Or Stitch. Is Stitch in that series? I wanted Stitch. But I think with the Crush Pin, I think that's already a trader, so I can hopefully trade it off for a new one. Anyway, but that will do for this video. Hope you're all having an amazing Christmas period so far, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.